kush is a dope, pot is an herb. How did we wind up in this upside-down, opposite sketch of a world anyways? That's why I love to come out to this state. You people understand freedom. You people are a human resource. You come and you listen and you understand and you expand your minds. And you don't limit your thinking by obeying the dictates of the beast. Want to know how to tell the difference between hemp and marijuana? Very simple. If anyone ever asks you and you need a simple answer on how to tell the difference between hemp and marijuana, this is your answer. It's all in how you plant it. No matter what the seed, if you plant those plants 2 inches apart in rows, 4 inches apart in real tight rows, same way they plant sorghum, same way they plant wheat, you're going to get little stemmy things and they're going to shoot up and you're not going to get branches and buds and all that, and you're going to end up with hemp. You take the pot seed and you grow it with the intention of growing marijuana, or smoking cannabis, or pot, for short, then you grow it with some room. You give it some elbow room. The plant comes up and says, you know what, hey, I'm the only one around here. I think I need to reproduce and spread out and multiply like God said, you know? So you have that. And it's a lot different from the industrial society hemp that's in real tight rows and everyone's just asses to elbows and shoulder to shoulder, so you don't have time to recreate. You're just working all the time. You know, you're working and growing that stalk and growing that cellulose and growing that oil. So that's the difference between pot and hemp. It's how you plant it. It's all in the intention of the farmer. Like a farmer like Alex White Plume in South Dakota, if you can go this Tuesday through the next Sunday, Oglala Lakota Nation in South Dakota, Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, is having Hemp Days. It's the second annual event. It will be their harvest festival for legal industrial hemp. Now, they're not growing this year, but you just come back next year because they're going to have their case court in October. It's going to be settled, and they're going to be given their sovereign treaty rights to grow industrial hemp on reservation land and process it into paper, process the oil into diesel, sell the seed to each other. It'll be wonderful, people. And it's happening in America now. And that's why you donate to Seattle Hempfest, because they support cool stuff like this. They support getting the word out. They support and create an opportunity for people in the movement to have access to people. It's what it's all about. That's why we have mass gatherings, people. It's all about the outreach. This isn't like high school when you had the pep rally, you know, all the cool kids I knew were out in the dugout burning joints. We didn't go to the pep rally. I don't even know how that works, but some very organized people think that you get together at the state capitol and you go rah, 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 and then you're done. No. Activism is an all-day thing. Activism is an all-weather thing. Activism is an all-time thing. So get active, figure out what it is you can do, and start doing today, and do it. And do it for the rest of your life until either you retire, you turn 90, or pot is legalized. That's actually, I stole that one from Jack Harrer. Is Jack Harrer going to be here this year? Maybe. City of Detroit brings you good news this year. City of Detroit passed an ordinance much like the one in Seattle, exempting medical users of cannabis from persecution by the Detroit City Police. So as far as the City of Detroit is concerned, we have legal pot. That's the MPP, that's Cannabis Action Network, NORML, all these people coming together and making this. I'm down with MPP. Yeah, you heard me. I'm down with MPP. Hey, keep it in your pants. Annual events that happen the same date, the same place, every year after year after year. Ann Arbor Hash Bash, first Saturday of April. Liberation Day, a major city near you, the first Saturday of May. Seattle Hempfest, the third weekend in August. D.C. Smokin' every 4th of July in front of the White House. It's a huge march. It's a free concert all day long. Washington, D.C., 4th of July every year. Go to these events, support the organizers, and hey, throw a little change in too, and buy the Hempilation CD. That CD fucking kicks ass. I haven't taken it out of my boombox since I bought it 2 years ago. And you need to make that an annual thing, man. Because that's, and I got to see the video now. I haven't got that yet, but that's, you know, this is the thing, you know. Bring back something so that you can prove what you've done, you know. What I do on my summer vacation, you know. I went to Seattle Hempfest, man! And I brought something back, but I smoked it on the way out. It didn't make it to my car, but I was there, man! And this guy was speaking about this stuff, and it was just booths and the nader and all this stuff was going on, man. You gotta see it. Come back with me next year. Right. And that's how these annual events work, and they grow and they go, and it's a beautiful thing. We can all live like we're free for a change, you know. If you get enough people together, you have in the Congress they call a quorum. You have a quorum. You call for a quorum. How many people here smoke pot? Oh, yeah, all of us? Okay, well, we can express our freedom then. Isn't that special? Now we'll go to the shopping mall by yourself and then try that. Yeah, you notice the difference right away.
How do we get on your list?
Seattle, Detroit, Ann Arbor coming on the next one. Some of these other cities outside of California and Nevada where they don't have statewide.
Missoula, Montana, September 11th.
About showing people that we're here to demonstrate for cannabis liberation, that nothing stops us. It's not a factor of the weather. It's not a factor of even whether you can donate or pay attention to us even. It's that we have to be here and make a stand. We've got no choice. We really have no choice. We'll have a choice on the 11th, but until then, we got no choice. So this is what we do. We gather at these annual events, and we come out and we learn stuff. Let's learn.
Do you have any kind of a rough estimate on how many voter registrations there's been?
We're going to get a rough estimate on how many voter registrations have happened here today. Around 500 people registered to vote today. That's two good things. Well, it's one good thing. It's great that we've registered that many people, but shame on that many people for at this point in the game not being registered? What are you, crazy? Vote or die, people. Vote. Yeah, minimum of 900 for two of 20 groups. This is what I love about this organization. They've got, first of all, it's all free. Even at Rainbow Farm, they had paid staff. But they get so much work done here. It's incredible. They've got like crews and committees for every freaking thing here. I have never seen an organization like this. Really, I mean, I love grassroots, and I know how it feels, you know, when you're in it. But son of a bitch, man! I mean, all these people working alone is just organization just to get these people all signed onto the program, and they're all local, right?
Yeah, no, man. People come from all over the country.
Like, what percentage are local, though? 80%. See, this is the thing. You've got resources to tap into. You've got people here who understand the freedom. You've got people here who get it. You know how hard it is to try to get hundreds of people, let alone thousands, to gather in downtown Detroit? This Chamber of Commerce in the city of Detroit can't even do that. But you people here are beautiful. You're a tremendous human resource. And you've done so much for freedom in the local level now for medical marijuana, for the state. You've done just incredible things here in Seattle and this whole area. Help us. Keep doing it. I'll bring back the video to prove to my homeboys that it actually happens, and we'll try to get some of this going in the rest of the country. In the meantime, we still have several key locations of annual events, and that's a beautiful, important thing too. I want to take the opportunity to explain some important data, scientific data about how cannabis is the anti-drug. When you smoke pot, the first thing that happens from your first toke is the pituitary gland of your brain releases like a weekend's worth of melatonin. Melatonin is this stuff that you can buy it in grocery stores, and it makes you have nice dreamy sleep. You know, we don't think of sleep anymore as taking a sleeping pill and being unconscious. We know that sleeping is a little more complicated than that. And if you don't get enough sleep, you take melatonin, and it makes you get good, refreshing sleep. So I highly recommend melatonin if you're not getting your sleep. But the thing about melatonin is, pot makes your brain release it. When you do cocaine, your brain doesn't release melatonin, it releases dopamine and endorphins, and then all these other addictive drugs are messing with dopamine and endorphins. And pot doesn't do any of that to you. There's like some third-hand tertiary response of a dopamine increase when you smoke pot, but they don't tell you that it's nothing compared to the 1,000,000 times greater melatonin spike that happens in your brain chemistry when you smoke your first bit of pot. Now, it doesn't last long, and then your brain has to take it and recycle it, and then a couple hours later you'll feel the effect again. But the thing about melatonin is closely related to tryptamine. You can think of melatonin as almost a strain of 2 or 3 tryptamine molecules. There used to be a psychedelic drug called DMT, and you can think of that as a chain of like 17, 20 tryptamine molecules strung together. It's still basically tryptamine is what you're talking about. Melatonin, DMT, tryptophan. You know, when you eat your turkey dinner, you get that sleepy kind of feeling. Tryptophan is like tryptamine. It's like 1 or 2 tryptamine molecules strung together, really weak. So imagine a chain of tens of thousands of tryptamine molecules that are enough to put you in REM sleep for 12 hours at a time. That's ibogaine. Ibogaine is a remogenic. It makes you go into REM, it makes you sleep, and it hits the reset button on your brain so that if you're addicted to hard drugs, you are set free from your addiction. It's the only addiction antidote, and our government won't let us use it. In fact, our government has made it more illegal than some of the addictive drugs that it works against. So ibogaine, the antidote to addiction, is more illegal than cocaine. Ibogaine, the antidote to addiction, is more illegal than morphine. And it's, of course, as illegal as cannabis. Go figure. It seems like every drug on the Schedule 1 list needs to be removed immediately. But what we have is a situation where our government has pushed us into an addictive society while telling us that pot is somehow the stepping stone drug, when pot is in fact the gatekeeper drug. That most people who smoke pot don't go on to become addicted to other drugs, and people who smoke pot and dabble in addictive drugs are less likely to get addicted because smoking pot has an anti-addictive effect because of the melatonin release. Melatonin is an anti-addictive neurotransmitter. It reverses the onset of addiction. If you think of addiction as a poison, then you look at this as the antidote. And pot gives you that effect. I mean, surely it's small compared to ibogaine, of course, but it's still there. So if you smoke pot and you smoke cigarettes, you're going to have a longer time of smoking before you become addicted to cigarettes than if you just smoked cigarettes. If you smoke cigarettes and you drink beer, you're going to get addicted to smoking cigarettes and you're going to get addicted to drinking beer faster than you would have if you just did one or the other. But then again, if you throw pot into the mix, you have a measurable anti-addictive effect there. Now, if you're quitting use and you use cannabis as a way to replacement drug therapy yourself, you will find that it's effective against cocaine, not effective against heroin. And it's funny, they say that pot's more like heroin than we used to think. Well, if pot were anything at all like heroin, and I was a junkie in withdrawal, and I smoke pot and I have a freak out because it's the exact opposite of what I want, I think that's pretty obvious proof that pot's not like heroin at all. It's the opposite of heroin. It's the anti-drug. Like I keep telling you, pot is the real anti-drug. You know, they want a war on drugs, you know, hey, and we got a war, we're taking casualties, they got our pot. You know, they want us to quit smoking crack. Well, give us our pot back and we will. We'll trade you the crack for our pot back. That's all we're asking for. So hippies are the anti-drug. Seattle Hempfest is the anti-drug.